Captain Jake Morrison stared at the massive alien ship through the bridge window of the UES Aurora. The vessel was 3 times larger than his own ship, made of some kind of dark metal that seemed to absorb light. Strange symbols glowed along, its hull in patterns he could not understand. "Captain, they're responding to our message," said Communications Officer Lisa Park. She looked nervous as she adjusted her headset. "They want to meet face to face." Jake nodded. This was what they had come for. First contact with an alien species. After months of traveling through space following mysterious signals, they had finally found them. The Zephyrian Collective, as they called themselves. "Tell them we accept," Jake said. "We'll bring a small team aboard their ship." Marine Commander Alex Kane stepped forward. He was a big man with scars on his face from old battles. "Sir, I don't like this. We know nothing about these aliens. It could be a trap." "Maybe," Jake replied. "But we came here to make contact. We can't do that from a distance." Dr. Ryan Hughes looked up from his scanning equipment. The scientist was young and excited about meeting aliens for the first time. "The readings are incredible, Captain. Their ship is made of materials we've never seen before, and the energy signatures suggest they're far more advanced than us." Jake felt a cold weight in his stomach, but he pushed the fear away. Humanity had always faced the unknown. This was just another step forward. 2 hours later, Jake stood in the Aurora's docking bay with his team. Besides Lisa, Alex, and Ryan, he had brought Marine Sergeant Danny Brooks, a tough soldier who had served in the outer colonies. They all wore their best uniforms and carried small gifts from Earth. The airlock opened with a hiss. The air that came through was breathable but smelled strange, like metal and ozone. Jake led his team into the alien ship. The corridor was huge, designed for beings much larger than humans. The walls were smooth and dark, covered with the same glowing symbols they had seen on the hull. Their footsteps echoed in the silence. "This place gives me the creeps," Danny whispered. "Stay alert," Alex replied quietly. They walked for what felt like miles through the ship's corridors. Finally, they reached a massive chamber. The ceiling was so high Jake could barely see it. In the center stood several tall figures. The Zephyrians were nothing like humans. They stood 8 feet tall, their bodies covered in what looked like natural armor made of crystal and metal. Their faces were angular, with glowing eyes that seemed to look right through you. When they moved, Jake could hear the sound of metal, scraping against metal. The largest Zephyrian stepped forward. When he spoke, his voice was deep and harsh like grinding stone. "I am High Commander Vexthul of the Zephyrian Collective. You are the representatives of the species called humans?" "Yes," Jake replied, trying to keep his voice steady. "I'm Captain Jake Morrison of the United Earth ship Aurora. We come in peace, hoping to establish friendly relations between our peoples." Vexthul looked down at the humans. His glowing eyes seemed to study them like insects. Then he began to laugh. It was a terrible sound, like metal being torn apart. "Friendly relations?" Vexthul said. "Look at you. Soft flesh creatures with no natural protection. Weak muscles, fragile bones. How did such pathetic beings ever reach the stars?" The other Zephyrians joined in the laughter. Jake felt his face burn with shame, but he tried to stay calm. "We may not be as physically strong as you," Jake said, "but we have other qualities. We're intelligent, creative, and determined." "Determined?" Vexthul moved closer. Jake could see his reflection in the alien's crystalline armor. "Let us test this determination, you warrior," he pointed at Danny Brooks. "Face one of my soldiers in combat. Show us this human strength you speak of." Danny looked at Jake, who nodded. The Marine stepped forward, removing his jacket and rolling up his sleeves. A Zephyrian warrior, smaller than Vexthul but still massive, entered the circle. The fight was over in seconds. The Zephyrian moved faster than seemed possible for something so large. Danny tried to land a punch, but his fist bounced off the alien's natural armor without leaving a mark. The Zephyrian grabbed Danny with one hand and lifted him off the ground like he weighed nothing. "Please," Jake said. "Put him down." The Zephyrian dropped Danny, who gasped for air on the floor. Alex moved to help him up. "This is your strongest warrior?" Vexthul asked. We expected more from a species that claims to travel between stars. One fighter doesn't represent all of humanity, Ryan said, his voice shaking with anger. No? Vexthul gestured to his warriors. Any of my soldiers could defeat your entire team without effort. Your species is weak, soft, and fragile. You have no place among the strong races of the galaxy. Jake felt anger rising in his chest, but he forced himself to stay calm. What do you want from us? We are generous, Vexthul said. We will allow humanity to exist as a client species under our protection. You will serve us and we will keep you safe from the dangers of space. It is more than you deserve. And if we refuse? Jake asked. Vexthul's eyes glowed brighter. Then, we will take what we want by force. Your worlds, your resources, your people. The choice is yours, but choose wisely. We give you 1 year to accept our offer. The meeting was over. Jake and his team were escorted back to their ship in silence. As the Aurora pulled away from the Zephyrian vessel, Jake stared at the recordings Dr. Ryan had made of the encounter. They're right, aren't they? Lisa said quietly. We can't fight them, they're too strong. Maybe, Jake replied. But they made one mistake. What's that? Alex asked. Jake looked at his team, seeing the determination in their eyes despite their fear. They think strength only comes from muscles and armor. They don't understand what makes humans dangerous. And what's that? Ryan asked. Jake smiled grimly. We don't know when to quit. And when someone tells us we can't do something, we find a way to prove them wrong. As the Aurora headed back to Earth, Jake began planning. The Zephyrians had given humanity 1 year. It would be enough. It had to be. The war room in Geneva was filled with angry voices. Admiral Patricia Cole stood at the head of the long table, watching the recording of humanity's first contact with the Zephyrians for the 3rd time. Around her sat the most powerful military, leaders from every nation on Earth. Play it again, said General Martinez from the American Space Command. His face was red with rage. We've seen enough, Admiral Cole said firmly. The message is clear. We have 1 year before they come for us. On the screen, High Commander Vexthul was laughing as he called humans weak and pathetic. The sound made everyone in the room clench their fists. Our best Marines couldn't even scratch their armor, said Colonel Williams from the British Space Forces. How do we fight something like that? We don't fight them the same way, came a voice from the back of the room. Everyone turned to see Dr. Elena Rodriguez walking forward. She was the head of the Titan Military Research Division, known for creating weapons that nobody thought possible. What do you mean? Admiral Cole asked. Dr. Rodriguez activated a holographic display above the table. It showed a human figure next to a Zephyrian warrior. The alien was twice as tall and 3 times as strong. Look at this comparison, she said. They're right about one thing, we can't match them physically. Their natural armor is stronger than our best metals, their muscles are more powerful than ours. In a straight fight, we lose. So, what's your point? General Martinez asked impatiently. My point is that we don't fight them straight, Dr. Rodriguez replied. We do what humans have always done when faced with stronger opponents. We get creative. She pressed a button, and the display changed. Now it showed a human figure covered in mechanical armor, weapons attached to the arms and back. Powered armor, she continued. We can't grow stronger muscles or harder skin, but we can build them. The room fell silent. Everyone stared at the hologram. It's been tried before, said Admiral Cole. The technology isn't ready. The power systems are too heavy. The joints too slow. That was 10 years ago, Dr. Rodriguez said. We've made breakthroughs. New power cells, better materials, faster computers. I think we can do it. She touched the display again. Now it showed technical drawings, numbers, and test results. I call it the Phoenix Project. We build suits that make our soldiers stronger than Zephyrians, faster, tougher, deadlier. But they keep the one thing aliens can't copy. What's that? Asked Colonel Williams. Human thinking, Dr. Rodriguez said. Human creativity, human stubbornness. Admiral Cole leaned forward. How long would it take? 8 months to build the first working suits. 2 more months to train soldiers to use them. If we start now, we'll be ready when they come." "What do you need?" General Martinez asked. "Everything," Dr. Rodriguez replied. "Money, materials, and the best people we can find. This has to be humanity's top priority." 3 days later, construction began on a secret base inside a mountain in Colorado. Dr. Rodriguez assembled her team. Nick Carter, the man who designed Earth's most advanced weapons, would handle the armor's offensive systems. Dr. Maria Santos, an expert in artificial intelligence, would create the computer systems that would make the suits work like a second skin. Professor Kevin Walsh, who built the engines for humanity's fastest ships, would solve the power problems. While the scientists worked, Marine Colonel Steve Bennett began recruiting volunteers for a new unit. He needed soldiers who were not just tough, but smart and adaptable, the kind of people who could learn to fight in ways no human had ever fought before. His first recruit was Lieutenant Amy Foster. She had served in special operations for 8 years, completing missions that others called impossible. She was small and quick, perfect for testing how the armor would work with different body types. Next came Sergeant Carl Johnson, a veteran of the asteroid mining wars. He had fought pirates in zero gravity and lived through ship explosions. If anyone could handle the stress of powered combat, it was him. The youngest recruit was Corporal Ben Wright, only 22 but already a legend among Marines. He had the highest reaction times ever recorded and could learn new weapons faster than anyone Colonel Bennett had ever seen. "What are we training for, sir?" Amy asked during their first meeting. "To fight gods," Colonel Bennett replied, "or at least, beings who think they are gods." The training began immediately. The volunteers practiced in simulators, learning to move and fight while wearing heavy equipment. They studied the recordings of Zephyrian combat, looking for weaknesses that human tactics could exploit. Meanwhile, in the research labs, the first powered suit was taking shape. It looked like medieval armor crossed with a spaceship. The metal was a new alloy, stronger than steel but lighter than aluminum. Computer systems ran through the joints like electronic muscles. The helmet contained sensors that could see in complete darkness and track multiple targets at once. "It's beautiful," Dr. Santos said as she watched technicians install the suit's brain, a computer system that would respond to the wearer's thoughts faster than their own reflexes. "It's not finished yet," Dr. Rodriguez replied. "We need to test it." The test pilot was Major Troy Adams, a former astronaut who had volunteered for the most dangerous missions in space exploration. He was calm under pressure and had reflexes sharp enough to fly through asteroid fields. When Troy first put on the suit, he could barely move. The weight was enormous and every step felt like walking through thick mud. But as the computers came online and the suit's system synchronized with his nervous system, everything changed. Suddenly, Troy could lift a car over his head. He could jump 30 feet in the air. When he punched a steel wall, his fist went through it like paper. "How do you feel?" Dr. Rodriguez asked through the suit's radio. Troy laughed. "Like I could fight 100 Zephyrians and win." "Good," she replied, "because you might have to." 6 months had passed since the Phoenix Project began. Deep inside the Colorado mountain, Captain Laura Mitchell watched as Lieutenant Amy Foster jumped 50 feet across the training room. Amy landed softly, her powered armor absorbing the impact, like it was nothing. "Time?" Laura called out. 37 seconds to complete the course," replied Dr. Santos from the control room. "That's a new record." Amy's voice came through the suit's speaker, slightly distorted by the electronics. "I can go faster. The suit feels like part of my body now." Laura smiled. The Mark 7 powered armor had exceeded every expectation. The suits made soldiers stronger than any human had ever been, yet they moved like dancers. The neural interface system that Dr. Rodriguez had designed let the wearer control the armor with their thoughts. "That's enough for today," Laura said. "Power down and debrief in 20 minutes." As Amy removed her helmet, her face was covered in sweat but glowing with excitement. "Captain, when do we get to fight the real thing?" Laura's smile faded. "Sooner than we hoped." The bad news had arrived that morning. The Zephyrians had started their invasion early. 3 human colonies in the outer systems had gone silent in the past week. Long-range sensors showed alien ships moving toward more populated worlds. In the command center, Admiral Cole was reading reports from the attacked colonies. The few survivors who had escaped painted a terrible picture. Zephyrian warriors had landed on each world and destroyed all. Resistance in hours. Human weapons bounced off their natural armor. Human soldiers were torn apart by alien strength. Colony 7 had 2,000 Marines. Admiral Cole said to the assembled officers. The aliens killed them all without losing a single warrior. Dr. Rodriguez stood up from her chair. Our people fought bravely, but they had no chance. Regular weapons and armor are useless against Zephyrians. How many powered suits do we have ready? Asked General Martinez. 50 complete suits, Dr. Rodriguez replied. Another 100 will be finished in 2 weeks. That's not enough, said Colonel Bennett. Intelligence reports show thousands of Zephyrian warriors on their way to Earth. It's what we have, Admiral Cole said firmly. We make it work. On the screens around the room, news broadcasts showed panic spreading across human space. The Tiao Zephyrian attacks on the colonies had been broadcast across the galaxy. High Commander Vexthul appeared on every channel, his crystalline armor gleaming as he spoke. Humans of Earth, his voice boomed through speakers. We warned you this day would come. Your pathetic resistance on the colony worlds has failed. Soon we will arrive at your home planet. Surrender now and we will be merciful. Continue to resist and we will show you the true meaning of strength. The broadcast switched to footage from the colony attacks. Zephyrian warriors moved through human cities like unstoppable machines. Their natural armor deflected bullets and explosives. When they struck, buildings collapsed and vehicles were crushed like paper. He's trying to scare us, said Lieutenant Amy Foster, who had joined the briefing still wearing parts of her armor. It's working, replied Sergeant Carl Johnson. Look at those civilians. They think we can't win. Maybe we can't, said Corporal Ben Wright quietly. Everyone turned to look at him. I'm not giving up, he added quickly. But we need to be realistic. 50 suits against thousands of aliens? Dr. Rodriguez activated a holographic display. It showed the technical specifications of the Mark 7 armor alongside data from the colony attacks. We have advantages they don't know about, she said. Our suits can fly in space and underwater. They can survive direct hits from weapons that would destroy buildings. The strength amplifiers let our soldiers lift 20 tons. The speed boosters make them faster than racing cars. But most importantly, added Dr. Santos, the AI systems learn from every fight. Each suit gets smarter and more effective with experience. Major Troy Adams raised his hand. What about their tactics? Every report shows them fighting the same way. Straightforward attacks, no complex strategies. That's our biggest advantage, said Colonel Bennett. They rely on natural strength and armor. They don't need to be clever because they've always been the strongest. But our soldiers have to be smart to survive. That makes them better fighters. Dr. Ryan Hughes, who had been studying the alien recording since the first contact, stood up. I've found weaknesses, he said. Their armor is strong but not flexible. They can't move as fast as our suits, and their joints where the crystal plates meet, those spots are vulnerable. Vulnerable to what? Asked General Martinez. High energy. Weapons built into the armor, replied Nick Carter. We've installed plasma cannons and particle beams. At close range, they can punch through Zephyrian armor. Close range means getting near those monsters, said Amy. They can tear us apart with their bare hands. Not if they can't catch us, Laura said. Our suits are faster and more agile. We hit and run, strike their weak spots, then get away before they can respond. 3 days later, the first reports arrived from the Kepler system. A Zephyrian scouting force had attacked a mining station there. But this time, the results were different. The mining station fought back, Admiral Cole announced to the assembled officers. They had 3 powered armor suits for asteroid work, modified them with weapons and fought the aliens. What happened? Asked Dr. Rodriguez. They killed 2 Zephyrian warriors and drove off the rest, Admiral Cole replied. It's the first human victory since the invasion began. The room erupted. in cheers, but Admiral Cole raised her hand for silence. "Don't celebrate yet," she said. "The main Zephyrian fleet is still coming. High Commander Vexthul is bringing everything he has. Our scouts report over 200 ships heading for Earth." "When will they arrive?" asked Colonel Bennett. 2 weeks, Admiral Cole replied. "Maybe less." Dr. Rodriguez looked around the room at the faces of Earth's defenders. "Then we'd better make sure our suits are ready." "They'll be ready," said Major Troy Adams. "The question is, will we be?" The Zephyrian fleet appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system like a swarm of deadly insects. 237 warships, each one larger than anything humanity had ever built. Admiral Patricia Cole watched the sensor readings from Earth's orbital defense station, her hands gripping the command rail. "They're not even trying to hide," said Captain Jake Morrison, now promoted and wearing the latest powered armor suit. "They think this will be easy." "Let them think that," Admiral Cole replied. "Colonel Bennett, are your teams in position?" "All squads ready, Admiral," came Bennett's voice through the communication system. "Lieutenant Foster's unit is stationed at Luna Base. Sergeant Johnson's team is with the orbital platforms. Corporal Wright and his squad are defending the Earthside installations." High Commander Vexthul's voice boomed across all frequencies. "Humans of Earth, your time of judgment has arrived. We offered you mercy, but you chose defiance. Now you will learn why the galaxy fears the Zephyrian Collective." The first wave of alien ships moved toward Earth's moon. They expected to find the same weak resistance they had crushed at the colonies. Instead, they found Lieutenant Amy Foster and her powered armor squad waiting for them. Amy floated in space outside Luna Base, her suit's thrusters keeping her steady as she watched 20 Zephyrian landing craft approach. Through her helmet's display, she could see the aliens inside each ship, confident and ready for another easy victory. "Remember the plan," she said to her squad over the radio. "Hit fast, hit hard, then move. Don't let them pin you down." The alien ships landed on the moon's surface, kicking up clouds of dust. Massive doors opened and Zephyrian warriors poured out, their crystalline armor gleaming in the harsh sunlight. They expected to march straight into the human base and destroy everything inside. Amy and her squad attacked from above, diving down from orbit like falling stars. Her plasma cannon fired, and the first Zephyrian warrior she hit simply disappeared in a flash of light. The aliens looked up in shock as more beams cut through their ranks. "Impossible," roared the alien commander. "Humans cannot fly." "We can, now," Amy replied, though the alien couldn't hear her. She landed behind a group of warriors and fired her weapon at point-blank range. Dr. Hughes had been right about the weak spots. The plasma beam punched right through the joint in the alien's armor. The battle on Luna lasted only minutes. The Zephyrians, used to fighting slow, ground-based enemies, couldn't adapt to humans who moved through space like they were swimming through water. Half their force was destroyed before they could even fight back. "Luna Base secure," Amy reported. 15 enemy casualties, no human losses. But the moon was just the beginning. High Commander Vexthul himself led the main assault on Earth's orbital defense platforms. These massive space stations were humanity's first line of defense, armed with the most powerful weapons Earth could build. Sergeant Carl Johnson's squad defended Platform 7, the largest of the orbital stations. As Zephyrian ships approached, Carl activated his suit's weapon systems. The Mark 7 armor had been upgraded with new weapons based on alien technology captured from the colony attacks. "Here they come," Carl said to his team. "Remember, they're big and strong, but they're not smarter than us." The alien boarding ships attached to the platform like ticks on a dog. Cutting beams sliced through the hull, and Zephyrian warriors poured inside. They expected to find humans hiding behind barricades, easy targets for their superior strength. Instead, they found Carl and his squad moving through the station's corridors like ghosts. The powered armor let them walk on walls and ceilings, attack from impossible angles, then disappear before the aliens could respond. "They're everywhere," shouted a Zephyrian warrior as Carl dropped from an air vent above him. "No," Carl replied, firing his weapon. "We're just better at this than you are." The fighting spread throughout Earth's orbital defenses. On Platform 3, Corporal Ben Wright led his squad in a running battle through the station's lower levels. The young Marine had learned to use his suit's speed to maximum advantage, striking at aliens and vanishing before they could strike back. "Right, you've got 20 hostiles coming your way," came Dr. Santos's voice through his helmet radio. The AI systems were tracking every enemy throughout the battle. "Copy that," Ben replied, setting up an ambush at Junction 7. When the Zephyrians reached the junction, they found it empty. Then Ben and his squad attacked from every direction, at once their suits letting them cling to walls and move in ways that confused the aliens completely. On Earth's surface, the battle was just as fierce. Zephyrian dropships landed in major cities around the world, but they found humans ready for them. Major Troy Adams led the defense of New York, his heavy assault armor letting him go toe-to-toe with the largest alien warriors. "Is that all you've got?" Troy taunted as he grabbed a Zephyrian warrior and threw him through a building wall. The alien's natural armor was strong, but Troy's powered suit was stronger. The tide of battle began to turn. Across human space, reports came in of Zephyrian defeats. The aliens, who had never faced serious resistance before, didn't know how to respond to enemies who were faster, smarter, and just as strong as they were. High Commander Vexthol watched from his flagship as his forces were pushed back again and again. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "They were weak, we saw them." "Commander," reported one of his officers, "the humans are using artificial enhancements, metal suits that make them as strong as us." "Impossible," Vexthul roared. "No artificial. Device can match natural evolution. The evidence suggests otherwise, Commander." For the first time in his life, Vexthul felt something he had never experienced before: fear. These humans were not the weak creatures he had expected. They had become something else, something dangerous. "Send word to all commanders," he ordered. "Fall back to the fleet. We need a new strategy." As the alien forces retreated, Captain Morrison's voice came over all human channels. "All units, this is Morrison. The first wave is retreating. Excellent work, everyone." But Admiral Cole knew the battle was far from over. "Don't celebrate yet," she warned. That was just their opening move. Vexthul is still out there, and he's angry now. High Commander Vexthul stood alone on his flagship's command deck, staring at the blue planet below. His forces had been defeated in every battle. Thousands of his warriors, the pride of the Zephyrian collective, had fallen to these enhanced humans. "Commander?" His aide approached carefully. "The War Council requests your orders. Should we retreat and call for reinforcements?" Vexthul's crystalline armor scraped as he turned. "No, I will not return home in shame. There must be a way to defeat these creatures. Sir, perhaps we underestimated them. Their artificial enhancements make them equal to our warriors in strength, but they fight with tactics we have never seen. They are still just soft flesh inside metal shells," Vexthul growled. "I will prove that natural evolution is superior to their artificial tricks." On Earth's orbital command station, Captain Jake Morrison was reviewing battle reports when Admiral Cole approached him. Her face was serious. "Jake, the aliens have stopped attacking," she said. "Our sensors show them gathering near their flagship." "What do you think they're planning?" Jake asked. "I don't know. But Vexthul isn't the type to give up easily. He's proud. Losing to humans has hurt his ego more than his army." Dr. Santos's voice came through the communication system. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the Zephyrian flagship. It's directed specifically at Captain Morrison." "Put it through," Admiral Cole ordered. The holographic display activated, showing High Commander Vexthul in all his towering glory, his glowing eyes fixed on Jake with burning hatred. "Human Morrison," Vexthul's voice boomed. "Your species has fought better than I expected, but you still hide behind artificial enhancements. You dare not face a true warrior with your natural strength." Jake stepped forward. "What are you saying?" "I challenge you to single combat," Vexthul declared. "You in your metal suit against me with my natural armor. When I defeat you, your species will surrender. When you defeat me, the Zephyrian fleet will leave your system forever." "It's a trap," Admiral Cole whispered. "Don't do it." But Jake was already thinking, this could end the war without more bloodshed. What guarantee do I have that you'll honor the agreement? The word of a Zephyrian commander, Vexthul replied. We may be conquerors, but we are not liars. Do you accept, or will you hide behind your army like a coward? Jake looked at Admiral Cole, who shook her head. Then he looked at the faces of his crew around the command center. These people had trusted him to lead them through humanity's greatest crisis. I accept, Jake said. Where and when? 1 hour from now, the asteroid field between your planet and moon. Come alone. The transmission ended. Admiral Cole grabbed Jake's arm. You can't do this. He's twice your size, and has been a warrior his entire life. Maybe, Jake replied. But I'll be wearing the best armor humanity has ever built, and I'll have something he doesn't understand. What's that? Jake smiled. The knowledge that I'm fighting for everyone I care about. 50 minutes later, Jake floated in space wearing an experimental heavy assault suit. It was larger than the standard armor, built specifically for fighting the biggest alien warriors. Dr. Rodriguez had loaded it with every upgrade and weapon they had developed. Jake, can you hear me? Came Dr. Santos's voice through his helmet. Radio, loud and clear. Remember, his armor is strong, but the joints are weak. His reach is longer than yours, but you're faster. Don't try to match his strength, use your brain. Vexthul arrived in a small ship that looked like a crystal spear. He emerged wearing no additional armor, relying only on his natural protection. In the vacuum of space, he moved with surprising grace for something so large. So, human, Vexthul's voice came through Jake's radio. Are you ready to die? Are you ready to lose? Jake replied. They circled each other among the floating rocks of the asteroid field. Vexthul moved first, lunging forward with incredible speed. His massive fist struck Jake's chest armor, sending the human spinning through space. Jake used his suit's thrusters to regain control, firing his plasma cannon at the alien commander. The beam struck Vexthul's armor and dispersed harmlessly. Your weapons cannot penetrate true armor, Vexthul roared, launching himself at Jake again. This time Jake was ready. He dodged to the side and fired at the joint where Vexthul's arm met his torso. The plasma beam found its mark, and the alien commander howled in pain. Impossible! Vexthul spun around, swinging his arm like a club. Jake ducked under the blow and fired again, hitting another joint. The battle continued among the asteroids. Vexthul was stronger and his armor was tougher, but Jake was faster and smarter. Every time the alien attacked, Jake found a new angle, a new weakness to exploit. You fight like a coward, Vexthul shouted as Jake dodged another attack. Stand and face me. I am facing you, Jake replied, firing his weapon at the alien's knee joint. You're just too slow to keep up. Slowly, the accumulated damage began to tell. Vexthul's movements became sluggish. His mighty armor, designed to withstand direct attacks, could not protect the joints that allowed him to move. Finally, Jake landed on an asteroid and waited. When Vexthul charged, Jake jumped at the last second, grabbing the alien commander and using his suit's strength to slam him into the rocky surface. Vexthul lay still, his armor cracked and his breathing labored. Jake stood over him, his weapon pointed at the alien's head. Yield, Jake said simply. For a long moment, Vexthul said nothing. Then, slowly, he spoke. I yield. You have won, human. Jake extended his hand to help the fallen commander up. Vexthul stared at the gesture in confusion. You would help your defeated enemy? He asked. That's what humans do, Jake replied. Vexthul took Jake's hand and stood. For the first time since they had met, the alien commander looked at a human with something other than contempt. I was wrong about your species, he said quietly. You are not weak. You are different. You make yourself strong through will and cleverness, not just through birth. We had good teachers, Jake replied. You showed us what we needed to become. 6 months later, Jake stood in the same chamber where he had first met Vexthul. But now the room was filled with both humans and Zephyrians, working together to plan trade routes and scientific exchanges. Your people surprise me daily, Vexthul said to Jake. First you match our strength through technology, then you show mercy to defeated enemies. Now you offer friendship to former conquerors. That's what makes us human, Jake replied. We don't give up, and we don't give in to hate. Vexthul nodded slowly. Perhaps there is more than one path to strength in this galaxy. Outside the space station's windows, human and Zephyrian ships flew together toward the stars, carrying both species into a future neither could have imagined.